Check. Stop recording.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to BVI Pilots. I am your host, John. Glad to be here with you as always. I hope everybody's doing all right no matter where you are, and I hope your simming days are going good for you. And just remember, you can always ask other people throughout the community, myself, Brandon, Andy, Declan, Marshall, Rob. I mean, the list goes on. And I'll tell you, it's really exciting because we're seeing the list. It's getting bigger. The list is getting bigger, and that really, I like that. I really do like that, seeing new people coming in. That means a lot to me. It means a lot to all of us here that's been here for a while. So it's good to see you guys coming in and having fun. Don't never think that, oh well, I don't sim good enough, so I'm not going to do it, because nobody's better than nobody. Okay, everybody has their own little qualities in simming. Some might fly better, some might do ATC better. Everybody's got their own areas that they do better in, and better planes and stuff. But we are here again with a sneak peek preview, and we've got some guests, of course. We've got Brandon with us. Brandon, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing good. It's a little warm here today, but other than that, doing really well.
Good deal. And then our star of the show, star of TFM, we've got Mr. Andy with us. Andy, how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I'm gonna, while we're just talking here for a few minutes, I'm gonna get the file that I need.
Folder view list. My recording Discord 63 Dropbox.
It don't take very long. I'm just going to go and grab it and open it up. I'll run it. I keep forgetting that I've got to run the P3D as well in order to use to be able to use it.
That would help.
I'll do that as well. It's been a long day, folks. Obviously, most of you know that I graduated. Well, I did graduate, but I've got some classes that I'm taking in the summer here. It's kind of classes that, they got to be done, or graduation would be for nothing. So I'm dealing with college still, and I'll be going back to college in the fall. That's right, folks. I'm not taking a break one bit, am I?
All
right, let's
no.
Find YouTube videos 371. BVI Pilots podcast files 471.
But what do you do?
BVI Pilots shared files 571.
I think our folder is called BVI Pilots shared, isn't it? Are we the shared folder?
Yeah.
BVI Pilots.
Yeah.
BVI Pilots shared files. Items view list 730. TFM 22.6 alpha 4.zip 8 of 9.
All right,
Or
and then
Central 4.1.42.
last question is
TFM 22.6 alpha 4.
22.6 alpha. Is that right?
Yeah, 22.6 alpha 4.
Number edit red on TFM 22.6 alpha 4.zip 8 of 9.
Yeah, this one says 22.6 alpha 40. 40. No, I'm just messing with you. It does say 4.
Number edit red TFM
That would be a long time.
And you're thinking, wait a minute. How did we get 40?
Documents.
What are you doing to me here, Johnny boy?
Documents window. Preview. Items view list. Documents. Items view list. TFM 22.
Always got to put a little edge on the blade, TFM
22.6 alpha 4.
Alright, so let me hit start on P3D here.
R3DV 452 of 73.
And at the end, after we get done talking about this, I got a few announcements that I want to go over, some other stuff. So stick around. You don't want to miss this. I got some cool stuff I'm going to be sharing at the end of this podcast as well. If you don't know what that is, I advise you to stick around, because that's all I'm going to tell you right now.
R3DV 452 of 73. Location. The of game clock. R3DV 450.
Don't worry, folks. We all get messed with up here. So
Documents row 1 column 1. Documents window.
We mess around with people, and we get messed around with.
Yeah.
exactly.
TFM 22.6 alpha 4.zip.
Yeah, it doesn't go only one way. It goes both ways around here.
TFM 22.6 alpha 4.zip 1 done. Context open extract 7 scan 7 zip open arc extract file extract here extract the TFM 22.6 alpha 4e. App start. Documents window. 18% extract AC. User error. TFM 22.6 alpha 4 documents window. Items view list. TFM 22.6 alpha 4 zip 157 to 158. Normal cursor. App start cursor.
One thing that I noticed,
Normal cursor.
and I'll go ahead and bring this up, being this is something about TFM that the version that's out now, Andy, and I'll report it too because I just noticed this. I know you used to not be able to. Like, if TFM was running, you could not get it to run another instance of it. Now you can, and today I noticed I was doing a flight and I had like 3 voices going at the same time. There was 3 different TFMs talking.
Oh no!
So for some reason, it's letting you run TFM more than once, and I don't know why. If you want me to report it, I will. But I said I'd tell you about it.
Yeah, report it.
Okay. All right. So guys, he makes me do things the long way. I was hoping to get away with that, but it didn't work.
Scenario startup. Record 3D registered scenario startup. Change vehicle button. Change your selected vehicle.
3 different versions of TFM running
Submenu dialog window.
Not 3 different versions. Not 3 different versions, you ding dong. The same version.
Instances.
Instances.
Yeah, 3 instances of it running at the same time.
I mean,
it made for an interesting flight, though.
Well, it didn't mess me up. It just it made like an echo because they're all talking at the same time. They're all.
Oh right.
Yeah, it's like maybe a quarter of a nanosecond delayed from one to another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still, the other thing is it can cause you to lag because it's trying to run,
Mm-hmm.
But no big deal. I'll report it, and we'll be good to go. All right, so let me type in. I'm just loading the plane now. PMDG. We're going to the 737 because that's the plane that we're still on. Alright, so before I move on, someone was asking about this. They saw it last week when I was loading P3D, and they're seeing it now. When I put in, I type in PMDG, and then I'm going to tab one time, and it says civilian male white blue jeans
shirt. Yeah, that used to throw me off.
There is a way to get rid of that. I don't know what it is you got to do. There, it's a setting somewhere. I don't know what it is. So if someone knows what it is,
I believe it's avatar mode.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly where it is.
If you uncheck use avatar mode, then I think it'll take those
what is
little
avatar
icons away.
What is avatar for, anyways?
So avatar is basically a little glyph image. It almost looks like an emoticon, but it's of a full person that you use to represent yourself. So for an example, if you were on a blog and you had an avatar and you left a comment, somebody could easily pick you out from all the other avatars because they know what you look like in that picture. So P3D basically has an avatar mode. So if you see aircraft flying around, let's say you're in slew mode, then it'll show their avatars.
Yeah, I was wondering what that avatar thing was.
Yeah, it's just like an icon that represents a person, is all it is. And sometimes if you have avatar mode on, you can see the avatar next to the aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you're flying on VATSIM, for an example, then you can see their avatar next to their aircraft.
Right. So wait, good way to identify somebody, but for us it does no good because we don't got no way. Now if TFM had a way to specify one avatar to the next one, great, but I don't think that's.
I don't think
that'd be overkill.
Yeah.
They're just pictures.
And I think where is that setting? Is it in general settings? I think maybe.
PMDG 737-900
I
believe
it's under
PMDG
information.
737-900 RNG show PMDG house split limits are winless.
Under settings,
either under
right?
general.
General information.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
You go to general and there might be something there. Go to information. There might be something there with
change
it.
vehicle button. Change your list the available weather teams. Active sky weather team. User change airport button. Change your.
I'm going to pour this over here at
window. Edit search by airport ID. Land.
Different airport. Let's go to KLHM.
Harlingen Airport.
Land.
And we'll go down to the runway.
Edit search fire. Combo box net. Combo box. Reset all button. Combo box active runway collapsed. Expanded.
Again, if you're just, well, you wouldn't be tuning in because it's going to be a recording. But if you're watching this and it's not the same day it was published, we do these every week. Usually it's on Thursday. I got behind schedule yesterday with other stuff, so we're 1 day late. No big deal though.
Parkin 16 ramp gas small nuts. Parkin 17 ramp gas small nuts. Parkin 18 ramp gas small nuts. Parkin 19 ramp gas small nuts. Parkin 2 ramp gas medium not selected.
But I got busy with some quiz stuff. Not even a full week yet, and I've already got quizzes I got to deal with. But
man,
I'm telling you, folks.
Yeah, I remember those.
Check this latest change vehicle button. Check this latest scenario startup screen. Change vehicle button.
Those days,
check this latest scenario startup screen.
It's different if you're just in college and, you know, you've only been in for maybe 6 months, 8 months, no big deal. But when you've been in college as long as I have, things really liven up about that last semester.
Yeah.
And being I'm doing some extra stuff and I'm doing my capstone.
Options button. Check this latest scenario startup
quite
screen.
the workload ahead of you.
And biology and a
I was in
capstone.
I was in college for 5 years.
Yeah, so you know all about it too, my friend. You know all about it.
Lockheed Martin registered pre-R 3D registered P4.
Like they say, it's a college career.
Yeah.
Submenu dialog window. 18%.
I ran.
Feel like a career sometimes.
28%.
I ran full time. Starting in 2017, I went through college.
59%.
And
69%.
I stayed full time the whole time. And
70.
you're talking anywhere from 4, maybe 5
Lockheed
classes
Martin
a
registered pre-R 3D
semester.
registered P4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did full time most of the time, and you're looking at it's like 4 8-week classes per semester.
Yep. So, all right. So now
Lockheed Martin registered pre-R 3D registered.
we've got
Documents row 1 column 2. Ops 27. Dashboard of idols.com. Training and recording lobby team. Star chapter 1 through 3 biology. Lockheed Martin registered pre-R. Documents row 1 column 2.
we got the
Documents
video.
window.
We got the plane loaded.
TFM 20. Zoom meeting for writing class. TFM 22.6 alpha 4.zip 157 to 100. TFM 22.6 alpha 4 150.
Alpha 4.
Items view list. Data not selected 1 to 100. TFM.x 107 to
I'm
114.
going to load TFM.x.
Context menu open O. Run as troubleshoot. Run as administrator. Items view list. TFM.x 107 to 114. App start cursor.
It's going to give me a message about settings. I already know.
Normal cursor. App start cursor. Error dialog. Geo names username was dialog. TFM 22.6 alpha 4 window. Items view list. TFM.x 107 to 114. Loading airport database. Could not load airport database. Current aircraft. TMDG 737 900.
Alright, and what I'm going to do because we're recording, I'm going to make sure
Lockheed Martin registered pre-R
that
3D.
people
Lockheed
can
Martin
hear
registered
you
pre-R 3D.
okay, Andy. I'm going to turn down the sim a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to my mixer setting real quick. Turn that down a little so
Context
we can
menu.
hear.
Good idea.
Sim itself isn't
normal
really
cursor,
important
normal cursor.
for this particular.
No, but I think he's saying just
Device
to make
manager, level
sure
0,
people
device manager,
hear
101.
you okay.
Oh yeah,
just
to make sure that
turn the
people
sim
hear.
down.
Yeah, that's
Device
fine.
manager.
Most of the time, people
Lockheed Martin
like to
registered
have their
pre-R.
sim sounds turned up, so it feels like they're actually in an
Start window. Search
airplane.
window. Search box edit plan.
But
Yeah, that's why I usually have mine turned up.
in this
so
particular
options,
case,
system
it
settings,
doesn't
select the switch
matter
menu.
because we're
Right.
only
Settings.
going through TFM windows.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it'd stay where it's at.
Setting.
But
Input combo.
all
List.
right.
System sound. System sounds grouping. Mute app button. Mute app. Adjust the output volume slider 1. Output input combo box. Output combo. Input. Reset to the Microsoft. Get help grouping. Give heat. Home button. Mute mask. Adjust the master output. Output
Okay.
combo box. Input combo box line. List. System sounds. Cisco week. Cow. Line 2. Line 3. Lockheed Martin. MVD. Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin. Red. Adjust the output volume slider 30. 30. 28. 20. 20. 20. 20. 18. 17. 16. 14. 12. 11. 10.
I got it on 10. That's good enough.
Lockheed Martin registered pre-R 3.
All right, so here we are, my friends.
Lockheed
We've
Martin
got
registered pre-R 3D registered
the
P4.
sneak peek preview of TFM with Andy, and now let's do a refresher, Andy. We're not going to go over it, but what
Yep.
did we show them last week, and then we'll get into what we got this week.
So last week was the new IRU panel. And how you could jump back and forth between the different sections of the panel with hotkeys, and the new layout of the indicators in a permanent stationary place on the form or in the window panel, whatever you want to call it, and the fact that you can access them with Alt 1 through Alt 9.
Makes it very nice.
Yeah, it does.
Yep. And we also talked about how to detect blinking lights and the fact that the left and right DC light blinks while the IRU is powering up, and once those become active, the GPS light turns on, then it turns off after validation, and then the left and right IRU lights, when you set them to a line and the FMC is ready for input, they will blink. So we talked about how to detect a couple of different ways of detecting blinking lights. We also covered settings for the IRU panel and TFM settings, which are found under PMDG, then speech events, then 737. You have all of the panels under there. So then we went to the IRU panel, checked out all of the check boxes that will let you turn on or turn off TFM's ability to announce each individual control or indicator state. We will be doing the same type of thing today. Last week's blog post was PMDG 737 rebuild week number 2, which covers the PSEEU panel and the service interphone panel.
What is the PSEU? Andy, you describe what that is.
Hold on a second, and I will. We have a couple of surprises for people this week because I'm excited about this new rebuild, and I'm sure John and Brandon, you are too, so I'm sure you want to see just a little sample sneak peek of something before the blog comes out on Sunday.
Nice. See, that's the advantage about these sneak preview shows. It's not always, guys, it's just me deciding that, okay, we're going to show them this. Really, Andy is he's the globe of the show. So what he wants to show, he shows us. I'm saying this for a reason, then we're going to move on. I had a random viewer. It wasn't even, I didn't even recognize the name. But either way, they made the comment, well, don't that give you an advantage over others? Let me say this. I have no advantage because, number one, even if I flew with it, what am I why am I flying against you? That doesn't make any sense. Like, if Andy went and flew right now, and I went and flew right now, we're not flying to compete.
No.
We're not trying to get to Hawaii quicker than the other person.
It's not a race to see who can get somewhere quicker.
So that's obsolete. What you said is just obsolete. It doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, there's no advantage.
Let me point out the fact that there isn't any advantage of any of us having a preview build
you can
of
have
TFM
one too.
because it is. It's open source. It's up on GitHub. So as long as you know the GitHub repository's name and you know how to pull down the source code and build it in Visual Studio, you also have the preview builds. So there's nothing special about the preview builds. We're just here showing people who either, one, don't have the ability, two, don't have the interest, or three, aren't technically skilled enough to want to try and get these.
Well, and the other thing is, I know the person that said it's not someone that's in the BVI, because the way they announced our group was the visual impaired pilots. We never say that. No one I know never says that. So
no,
it's BVI, not VIP. I'm going to join the VIP pilots, man. They got the special abilities right there. Anyways, good deal, man. So, yeah, every week you can tune in and kind of get a peek at what's being done. You can read about it on the blog, and you can get a peek at it on the video. So here we are.
Yep.
And
TalkingFlightMonitor.com/blog is for the blog, and TalkingFlightMonitor.com/download is for the downloads.
Yep. So go grab it. Go get you a copy of the executable if you want it. However, I will state this for Andy and myself: if you do try to download something and you're not really 100% sure how to do it, and you do something and you mess up your computer, myself nor anybody else on this show or anybody connected to TFM will be responsible for anything you might damage because you're messing with stuff you don't know really what you're doing. Okay, so if that was to occur, preview
builds are at your own risk. There is no help or no support on restoring.
So it's basically running your own risk.
Well, it is. I mean, I'm not saying something would happen, the chances of that, but if you don't know what you're doing, you could mess something up if you don't know what you're doing. But otherwise, it's all good. Most of the BVI pilots, they know what they're doing. I think that was a troll I was dealing with.
Yeah, I bet it was.
And there's no place for a troll, so troll on somewhere else. All right, as always, Andy, I'm going to let you tell me what to do when you want me to load something. Just tell me, John, left bracket, whatever. You're in control. You tell me what to do, and I'll show it.
All right, so week 2 covers the PSEU and service interphone panels. So you wanted me to describe the PSEU panel, and to put it simple, because there's only one thing. It is a systems overview panel with one indicator on it. When it is lit, it says one system doesn't agree with another system. File for maintenance. Do not take off.
Okay. So if that light's blinking or lit up solid, then you got a problem.
So if that light is turned, basically the simple point for people who just want to know if their plane is in trouble or not, if the PSEU light is turned on, do not fly. Call for maintenance or go into your FMC and perform maintenance. Check your failures, make sure something isn't going weird on you. And that is what is up with that panel. So
you basically want that light to be off to fly.
That light must be off in order to fly. If it goes off after you take off, soon after you take off, come back and land.
Okay.
If it goes off somewhere at cruise, find the nearest airport and land.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
So, where do you want me to go here then? Where are we going to start at?
So we'll go to left bracket control P to bring up the panels.
737 cockpit, panels preview, level 0 left overhead, collapse 1 to 1.
Alright, overhead's collapsed.
Alright, so you need aft overhead and expand it.
Expanded, 0 items. Level 1 to 0, 1 to 1. 2 1 to 1, level 1. Service center, home 1 to 1 level. Home lights 1 to service center.
And once
two, 1 to
it's
1 level,
expanded,
1 to 1.
you'll hit down
Level 0
arrow,
overhead
you'll
expanded.
find the
Level 1 to 0, level 1.
IRU
2 1 to 1 level
panel,
1.
which we
Service center,
covered
home 1 to 1
last
level 1.
week.
2 1 to 1
Next
level 1.
one you will find SEU panel.
Service center, home 1 to 1 level 1. 2 1
So
to 1
I'm
level 0
on
1 to 1 level 1. Level 0 aft overhead expanded 1 to 1.
aft overhead expanded.
Level 1 to 0 1 to 1.
Yep, down arrow and you'll find ADIRU.
Yep. Expand that.
Down arrow again and you'll find
2 1 to 1 level 1.
PSEU.
Service center, home 1 to 1 level 2 1 to 1 level 1.
Okay, there it is. It says, sound like it's saying Sue. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
Sue.
gonna say Sue, because it's trying to pronounce it.
Yeah. Okay, we're good. I'm
So.
on it now.
Now if you press Alt 1,
Sue warning indicator off alt plus 1.
Sue one. I'm saying Sue. My gosh.
yeah.
Anyway, indicate.
PSEU warning level.
Yeah.
150.4.5000 uploading TFM 22.6 alpha 3.zip and sync TFM 22.6 alpha 3.zip.
Yeah, PSEU warning indicator off. That is the only thing in that panel. There are no interactive controls, because all that panel does is tell you if there's some system issues that need maintenance.
So do you need to be on this panel to look at that light? Like, can you hit Alt 1 from your sim window or no?
No. So all these commands like Alt 1 through Alt 9, you have to be on that panel's window in the cockpit view
Okay.
of TFM. You can't do it from the sim window. But the nice thing is this particular light will actually, TFM will announce it when it turns on.
So you know to go. Yeah.
So-
Okay. Gotcha.
So if you think you saw it, go to this panel, take a look.
I hit the wrong button there. Say it again, Andy.
So if you think that TFM announced the PSEU warning indicator on, just hop into this cockpit panel and take a look.
Take
Just
a look
to
at it.
Panel
Yeah.
reading
verify
2
that it,
Sue warning indicator off alt
take a
plus 1.
look to see.
Yeah, because you can tab off
that's
of it
all
and
that
shift
was-
tab back
Sue
on
warning
it,
indicator off
guys,
alt plus 1.
and it'll show you, or just Alt
Yep.
1 like you said. Well, if you hit Alt
Yep.
1 and you're already on it, it's not going to say nothing. So you'd need to tab
Panel preview.
and
Sue
shift
warning
tab
indicator
back
off
No,
alt
it's
on
plus 1.
it.
not.
But
Yep.
That's cool.
that is a handy feature
So that
because
is that.
That is a handy
what
feature.
if you're like me, you might have where services can mess up. Like if I don't change my oil, if I don't change
you don't
brakes
arc
after
the
so
doors.
long, if I use, well, that's on the 777 though.
Yeah.
That's not on the 737.
Right.
But for brakes, for example, if I had the services on for damage, it, could be- damage could happen. You use them brakes a lot, what happens? They heat
They
up.
wear out.
Well, they
Yeah.
heat up.
Yep.
And more than that can happen. You can actually have a fire started on your brakes. They can catch fire.
Brake
So-
fire.
Anyway, if any of this stuff, you got to keep this stuff maintenance, and it's a good thing to have. I'm glad that light's there because I try to keep things realistic as possible. So that light's gonna be like my best
Or
friend.
for the
Yeah.
instance of, let's say, the autopilot system is trying to report to the primary flight display the altitude. But for whatever reason, the PFD says that this altitude doesn't agree with it. I think it should.
Mm-hmm.
Then this light will turn on because the two
Touch locked onto the
systems
server.
don't
Touch locked onto the
agree and
server.
they're in
Touch locked onto the server.
conflict
Touch
with
join
each
channel. Touch
other.
domain.
So this light will turn on.
Right.
So it's not just like service maintenances or anything else like that. It's pretty much if any of the electronic systems or computerized systems are in disagreement with each other, if FMC1 does not agree with FMC2, this light will also turn on.
Right. Yeah, it's a good light to have. Like I said, some people might not. Some people fly without anything turned on, and they don't got to worry about it. But if you're like some of us that keep things very realistic, that light's going to be very helpful.
Personally, I like to have as much realism as
Now
I
remember,
possibly
the thing you got to think about though, this light isn't going to tell you what to go look for.
can.
It's not going to tell you
it'll
that.
just tell you that there's a conflict somewhere. Yep, there's a system conflict somewhere you need maintenance.
So you'll have to go into your maintenance panel to look.
So you have to go into the FMC or failures and take a look to see if there's an issue somewhere.
Yeah, you just got to do your, and really you should, more likely, this is something to think about too. If you've got a problem, a lot of the times, you'll catch it in one of your checklists.
Josh Tubbs join channel.
Okay, so,
Oxygen level 67%.
I just got a message that was interesting. It's supposed to be something new too. Oxygen level.
Oh, interesting.
I just got a thing. It said oxygen level 67%.
Yep.
That must
So
be
what is
something
that?
new. Well, we'll let him get that. That must be something new. That
That's what I was
just
thinking.
wow.
It's
that
new.
just gave me a back rub.
Yeah.
That's sexy right there, man. All right, so, but yeah, we can move on. You guide the way,
Right.
my friend.
So, if you press down arrow, there's service interphone.
Off unselected. Off. Panels preview 211 service interphone 111.
And there's one control on this. It says it's a switch that says service interphone off.
Service interphone off button.
If you press the button,
Pressed. Service interphone on. Service interphone on.
Yep, I heard it click.
and it
That's
should
cool.
say service interphone on.
Yep, it did.
The service interphone, if you're flying by yourself without any interactive packs, it's pretty much meaningless and senseless to use. You can just keep it turned off, but a lot of people fly with cabin crew add-ons and everything. And so if that particular cabin crew or packs add-on supports the service interphone, you can actually push this button, talk into your microphone, and it will respond to you.
Wow.
I wonder if you gotta, like on your add-on, I wonder if you gotta like hit it again to turn it off when you're done talking.
Yes.
Okay, so it kind of enables the phone/microphone for that part of the system.
So it's,
Now-
it's kind of like
Pressed. Service interphone off. Service
a
interphone off.
speaker with
Pressed.
a button.
Service
You
interphone
push
on.
the
Service
button,
interphone on.
turns the speaker on. You say what you want. You push the button, turns it off.
Now, will this work with packs and other add-ons like
Well, we don't know.
Yes.
self-loading cargo?
Yes, PAX, it does support service interphone. So does multi-crew.
Oh, okay.
I don't know exactly what you would
And that is
say
what's-
to PAX to get it to respond, but yeah, if you listen,
Pressed. Service interphone off. Service interphone
you
off.
hear it click. Let me hit the button. I'll show you guys.
Pressed. Service interphone on. Service interphone on.
See, they're clicking. That's awesome. That is really awesome. I do use PAX, and PAX is, they're doing stuff with it all the time. So it's not just sitting there and nobody's updating it and it's not getting attention, because it is. They're actually, it's an ongoing, updated add-on. So I like the fact of that they're actually not
I
just,
do too.
you know, I think the reason being because they want to keep it, you know, keep it where, you know, people like using it, obviously. I mean, all these developers, they make these because they want people to have fun with them, and I've had conversations with the developer of PAX, actually, through email and stuff, and there's more goodies coming, and that's all I'm going to say. That's all
Nice.
that's all I'm allowed to say. I'll say
Nice.
that too, but yeah.
I'm looking forward to starting.
And
to
keep
fly
in mind
with
that each one of these panels has their own settings. So If you want to change what TFM says or doesn't say, head over to settings, go to the panel under the PMDG speech events and the 37, and you can find any of the panels down there that are supported up here in the cockpit view. And they will have the check boxes to let you turn on or turn off the ability for TFM to say each one as it happens.
Well, like for example, the phone, the new setting here, if you've got that turned off on the setting, you're not going to know if it's being used from the add-on, because it's not going to, it'll be just like it's not working, right? You won't get no notification of it. You're not going to get, so make sure if you want something to work on the setting, then you need to have it on the notification side of it too.
Well, I'm guessing maybe for the add-ons, you could say something, when you're ready for pushback, you could say cross-check doors. I'm guessing things like that.
I don't think PAX is that specific. I think you can probably even just say ready for pushback like you do with first officer. Now, first officer it doesn't matter if you use this or not. I don't think it matters either way. It's going to hear you regardless. But
no. Well, service center phone basically will go from the cockpit to the galley and the cabin and back. That's all it does.
Right.
So if you say your flight attendant, you could say something like turn it on, and you could say flight attendants, I need a cup of coffee. 67%. Yeah, and I believe multi-crew experience might actually have a flight attendant come up and say, "Here's your coffee."
Does. Yeah, it does. I know.
Wow.
I know that. I know they do that because I've messed with it before. So.
Yep. And if you think about it with multi-crew, you know how like you get ready for pushback and you have this flight attendant, you hear a kind of like a click, and then you hear, "Captain, is there anything I can get you?"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a service phone.
Yeah, I wonder what that was.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys
so
go ahead and talk for a few minutes, guys. Let me grab something real quick, okay? Just give me 1 second. Just keep them occupied. Give me a second.
All right.
Yep. So, yeah, if she pops on and says, "Captain, is there anything I can get for you?" That's a service phone, so then what you could do, you could come up here, pop the service phone on, say what you need to say, turn the service phone off again.
Nice.
And there you go.
I'm looking forward to flying with PAX, so I'm going to get it and start using it. That's really cool.
Like for larger setups, since this is actually a study level aircraft and real pilots use it, so some training facilities have cockpit, like a hardware cockpit, and they also have a simulated cabin where they teach their flight attendants how to do their jobs.
Right.
And so what they do, they have it wired up where if the people up here in the PMDG cockpit turn on the service phone and say prepare for takeoff, then
yeah, because you can say like flight attendants prepare for departure.
Yeah. So you come up here, if you're the captain, you flip it on, you say flight attendants prepare cabin for takeoff. And if you're in the cabin simulator portion, they would actually hear it over a speaker in the wall, or they would hear it on, they just pick up the handset receiver and they could hear the captain tell them to get ready for takeoff. Or
they'd hear it in the ceiling, because I've heard when I've been on real aircraft, and gotten to the runway, I've heard the captain say, flight attendants prepare the cabin for takeoff or for departure.
Yep. And that's the service phone.
And I'm guessing
like I'm not sure if
and you're breaking.
You're breaking up really bad.
Badly.
actually aren't anything but a bunch of digital artifacts.
Yeah. So when the captain comes on and addresses the cabin, like say when you're in the air, and does the whole thing about, oh, weather's looking so and so, and this, that's the service phone as well.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Anytime the captain talks to the public or talks to the cabin or the crew, that's the service phone.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, you know, when, for example, I did a flight. Well, I've done a couple flights, and the one I did with George, you know, it wasn't cargo, it was actual passengers, and
right.
One of them was having trouble with, because the onboard you could get Wi-Fi, but you had to pay for it with your debit card.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so they couldn't get it to work, and they needed to come up, and you know, the one of the flight attendants needed to speak with one of the ones in the cockpit. So literally, there's, you know, they hit a button and pick up a little phone on the wall and talk on that phone. Like literally, there's a phone on the wall that they talk on.
Yep.
And
it's a little handset. Looks like a landline phone.
The dumber rule though is, once that plane gets going down the runway and that cockpit door gets shut, it doesn't come back open until landing.
Right.
That's one of the latest rules on that, because you know, you just don't never know. You don't never know.
Exactly.
I was actually reading up on some stuff, and so the way that I understand it, these doors, cockpit doors now, they are digitally locked. And so what has to happen basically is no one can get in unless the captain or the first officer lets them in, and they have to manually push a button or flip a toggle.
Oh, that's interesting.
In order for the door to unlock. They also have something up there for security. Last time I heard of it, it was called the pass axe, or an access axe is what it's called. And so basically what it is it's almost kind of like a weapon. So if someone does gain access without permission for whatever reason, then you have this thing here that you can subdue the person with, get them under control. Also heard about the fact that they're actually looking into depressurizing the cabin to get agitated people under control if it goes too far.
Wow.
Yep, so like they're talking about, let's say you have somebody that gets agitated with one of the flight attendants, and it escalates, and now they're pounding on the cockpit door wanting to talk to the captain about the service.
Right.
If they can't subdue them with the normal means they can in flight, I guess then they're talking about depressurize the cabin for like 10 or 15 seconds, put everyone unconscious, subdue the offender, and then repressurize the cabin again. So like everybody loses 5 minutes of their conscious life.
So has this actually been enacted into law, or is this just something that's being talked about? I mean, that
it's something that a lot of airlines are talking about doing. There isn't any FAA rules or regulations, or there isn't any opinions on it yet.
It's going to be interesting when it comes up for that review with the FAA. I wonder if they'll actually go for that.
Yeah, I don't know, because you have problems. Well, and a lot of airlines say, extreme chaos requires extreme measures.
Right. It's like the old saying goes, desperate desperate times calls for desperate measures, you know?
So like they were saying, you know, for an example, 911 wouldn't have happened. 911 wouldn't have happened if they were able to depressurize the cabin to subdue the offenders.
Right.
You know, the minute that they knew that these people were going to do something that was not good, they could have just depressurized the cabin for 15 seconds, knocked them unconscious, subdue them, pressurize the cabin again. Everybody wakes up 5 minutes later, and there's no problems.
You are right about the digital thing, Andy. Now, the pilot still has the ability to open it in the middle of a flight. But
I was going to say, he have the ability to overwrite that.
That's what I was saying.
But it's got to be. There's got to be a good reason for that door to come open. It can't be, oh, well, I need to ask you a question. No, that's not a good enough. Right. Nope. You won't get in.
Yeah, no, because you can ask the question over the service phone, yeah.
See, I don't know what's going on with the on and on and off, on and off, on and off.
Internet problems.
Even when you're on the phone, there's a camera. They can
what's
see.
Going on and off?
Oh, someone's getting off.
It's my internet's... Well, I disconnected. I disconnected because I wanted. It was saying I was. It sounds like
we'll get back to that in a second. Just hold tight.
Nothing.
So anyway, there's a camera too, which Andy, you probably knew that. So when you're talking to whoever, they can see who's on the phone because you don't know these days. Someone can come on there and sound just like a flight attendant, and they open the door.
Right.
Now, some of the planes, and I don't think some airlines do it and some don't, where the flight attendant has a code and they can use their code to come in. They can do that as well. But I think a lot of the airlines are going away from that because of safety.
Yeah, well, last time I saw most of them, you cannot get in unless one of the two in the cockpit let you in.
Yeah, because there's just too many things that can happen.
Now, did they institute that camera system for the phones before 9/11, or was it after 9/11?
I think it was afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that part. But.
And then, of course, they have the Access Acts, as they call it.
That just sounds brutal.
Well, they use it for...
It just sounds brutal.
Yeah.
What, the Acts?
The Access Acts, like, just that name, like, it just... Wow.
Well, I mean, if you have to subdue someone that managed to get their way into the cockpit, or...
Right.
In the event that you have to get the cockpit door open, but it's locked and it won't unlock.
Right.
Then the idea is that you could axe your way through the door.
That's understandable.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of times now too, you get there's a lot of flights where there'll be an air marshal. You won't know who it is, but they'll actually be on there with a gun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
yeah,
it's getting safer and safer. I mean, there's still, and the other thing that I didn't know this until, well, George had showed me. And he was amazed I even noticed that it was even there. There's a panel in the cockpit in the 777, maybe even in the 737. I don't know 100% on that one. But there's an actual panel there on the floor that they can open and get out. The pilots can get out of the cockpit from the panel in the cockpit. Don't know if
wow.
that or not. It's.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's an emergency exit panel.
Yeah. Yep.
So it actually leads you down and out of the aircraft itself, or is it just like?
Yeah.
It's made to take you out of the airplane.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And you know there's so like your big planes like that. It's got like a level below and a level above. They can even get to the lower level from the cockpit too via ladder, panel opens up, there's a ladder there, and they can step down. And
yep.
But that's not the same panel as the exit. The exit one's right there, right closer up by where the cockpit, where the seats are. But
I never knew that was there.
I didn't either, and I pointed it out, and George's like, "What panel are you talking about?" I'm like, "Right there." There ain't no panel there. And then finally he's like, "There is a panel there, but I don't know how you pointed it out."
Yeah, I was wondering how you even noticed it was there.
I don't know. It just looked like a panel to me. Looked like a...
Wow.
I mean, the rest of the floor looks the same way, but somehow, I don't know. I don't know. But, anywho. So we got the phone thing.
Yep. So let's see. We got the phone. All right. Whoops.
I'm waiting for you to tell me about the oxygen thing, because I know I heard that thing tell me something about oxygen. I'm just waiting for him to bring it up. I'm like, I know I heard that thing tell me that it was 62%.
Okay, so the panels we just talked about are on the blog under PMDG Rebuild Week 2. Now going forward, with the rest of what I'm going to tell you is a surprise sneak peek that is not on the blog yet, but it will be on Sunday. So here we go. In the tree view, make your way down to dome lights.
Alright, 1 second. I had to get me a drink of Monster after that one. Got me all excited over here. You just see my face when I heard it say oxygen 62%. I was like, ooh.
Yeah,
that's new.
We were just waiting in suspense. We're like, what is this?
And you know how I am anyway when it comes to keeping things as real as possible.
New toys, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Panels preview, service info, dome lights 1 to 1, level 1.
Dome lights. I'm on where it says dome lights.
All right. Alt D.
Dome lights 1 to 1, level 1.
Alt D should get you there, I think.
Dome lights panels preview, dome lights 1 to 1, level 1. Dome lights 1 to 1, level 1.
No, it doesn't. Okay, you're gonna have to press tab.
Dome lights combo box off collapsed.
It says dome lights off collapsed.
Yeah, okay, so if you up arrow, it turns them on.
Dim. Dome lights dim.
Dome lights dim.
To dim.
Yep.
And if you down arrow past off, it'll turn them on to bright.
Bright. Dome lights bright.
Oh, that is so pretty.
Oh, I better know what this is.
That is sexy right there, man. Heck yeah.
And that is all that's on that panel. And of course, again, in the settings, you can change whether or not TFM will auto-announce the state of the dome lights.
Nice.
Off. Dome bright. Dome lights bright.
So, let's make our way down to an exciting view here called
EEC 1 to 1, level 1. Dome lights EEC 1 to 1, level 1. Oxygen 1 to 1, level 1. EEC 1 to 1, level 1.
This is where some talking about.
EEC?
Oxygen 1. EEC 1 to 1, level 1.
EEC.
Echo Charlie.
Okay.
Yep, Echo Charlie. EEC panel, this is where the engines get their power.
Oh.
This is where the engines get their power. It's called the Engine Electronic Control System. This literally turns on power to the engines even before they turn on or are idle.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Nice.
So if you're sitting at cold and dark, this may be one of the first things that you do. is turn on your engine control. So, inside the engine control, if you... Oops, hold on. If you... Whoops. Alright. If you press tab, I don't want you to hit the hotkeys for these because it'll actually turn them on and off. We'll do that in a few minutes. So if you press tab, then you'll see engine number 1 control.
It says on button, easy.
Engine number 1 EEC on button, Alt plus L.
It will say engine number 1
on.
EEC on.
Yep.
Yeah, engine number 1 Echo Echo Charlie on.
Yep.
Lasso 10.4.5.28 high performance.
If you press tab again,
engine number 2 EEC on
then you'll find engine number 2's EEC.
Yep.
Alright. Now, if you press Alt 1 through Alt 6, you'll see all of the 6 indicators.
EEC lights grouping.
Alt 1 is control number 1.
Engine number 2 control indicator off. Engine number 1 control indicator off. Alt plus 1.
Alt 2 is engine number 2
control indicator off. Alt plus 2. Engine number 2 alternate indicator off.
Alt 3 is engine number 1 alternate control.
Engine number 2 alternate indicator off. Alt plus 4.
Next is Alt 4, which is engine number 2 alternate control.
Engine number 1 reverser indicator off. Alt plus 5.
Reverser indicator.
Number 5 is engine number 1 reverser.
Woo!
Engine number 2 reverser indicator off. Alt
indicator. Plus 6. And Alt 6 is engine number 2 reverser indicator.
And again, you guys, these are just the lights. Is it what activates the reversers or the engines? This is the lights.
Just yeah.
This is really cool.
Yeah. Now, if you press Alt L and listen to what happens.
Should it have said something?
It should have said something, yes. It should have said engine number 1 EEC off.
Yep, it did.
Engine number 1 alternate control indicator on.
It didn't say that.
EEC lights grouping. Engine number 2 reverser indicator off. Alt plus 6. Engine number 1 EEC on.
It says engine EEC on. That's all it gave me.
Okay, if you press Alt L. Oh, you know what you have to do? You have to get off of the indicators.
Okay.
Engine number 1 reverser indicator off. Alt plus 5.
Oh, so you
So
got
tab away from
engine number 2.
Yeah,
engine number 1
go to
EEC,
like the tree view
level
node or something like
EEC
that.
lights grouping. Engine number 2 reverser panels preview. EEC 1 to 1 level 1. Dome lights 1 to 1 level 1. EEC 1 to 1 level 1.
I'm right below
Dome
where it
lights 1
says
to 1 level
dome
1.
lights.
EEC 1 to 1 level 1.
EEC.
Yeah, okay, now press Alt L.
Engine number 1 EEC off.
Engine number 1 EEC off.
And then it should say engine number 1 alternate control indicator on.
No, it just said that. It just said EEC1 off. It's all it said.
Press Alt 3.
EEC lights grouping. Engine number 2 alternate indicator off. Alt plus 3.
Okay, that said that says off.
Okay. If you tab over to the engine number 1 button, tell me what state it's in.
Off. Alt plus 4. Engine number 2 alternate. Engine number 2 control indicator. Engine number 1 control indicator off. Alt plus 1. Engine number 2
should be
engine number 1
on.
EEC off. Panels preview. Engine number 1 EEC off. Button Alt plus L. Panels preview.
Okay.
Engine number 1 EEC off. Button Alt plus L.
It says off.
Oh, it is off.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Are you at cold and dark?
Yeah.
That's why. Okay, go into your FMC.
Lockheed Martin registered pre-par. Lockheed Martin registered pre-par. 3D registered P4.
Bracket. You want me to go to the code and dark settings?
Yeah, go into the PMDG setup, then load panel
Lockheed Martin
state.
registered pre-par. 3D registered P401 column 2. TFM 22.6 alpha 401
I want
column
you
3.
to activate short.
Ops 27.2.4. Dashboard of idols.com. Training and recording lobby. Star chapter 1 through menu. PMDG 737 CD Euro 2 column 4. Edit read only multi-line menu.
Okay.
Blank 1. Let's blank 2. Blank 3 PMDG. 4. Blank 5. Blank 5. FS actions greater.
What's it under settings?
Blank 4. Setup greater.
It's under, from the main menu, you go 4 right, then 2 right.
System submenu space.
4 right. 2 right.
Close C. Maximize X. Close C. Restore unavailable. System submenus. Edit read only multi-line 4. Setup greater. PMD 3. Less DFDAU. PMD 4. Setup greater. Blank 5. FS actions greater.
Oh, hold on.
System submenu space. Restore unavailable. Close C. System submenu space. Edit read only multi-line 5. FS actions greater.
I'm using my F1 key. Maybe I need to be using my controller alt keys, because when I do when I do F10, it's not hitting the soft key.
Oh, you know why? Because you're shut down completely. The FMC doesn't work. So this is what I'll tell you to do.
Well, no, I can see the FMC. I can see it. I can see the menu.
Yeah, but in that particular case, it stops pushing the offsets when the plane is turned off.
PMDG 4. Setup blank. 4. Setup greater.
Yeah, but it shouldn't do anything at all when I hit it. Like,
so in TFM's FMC, can you see the menu, or is it a blank screen?
Blank 2. Less options. State load grade panel 1. Less aircraft state
yeah,
greater.
So it worked when I did Alt 4. So the version you sent me is settings are for.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's the default settings.
It didn't pick up my settings on the other one. But that's okay. So right top 4, right top 2.
Blank load panel state 1/2. Blank 1. Less NGX2 cold dark.
And then
blank 2. Less NG2 long.
You got me on.
Set it to short.
Blank 3. Less NG2 short.
So 3.
Blank 3. Less NG2 short.
Left soft 3, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Execute key available.
Execute.
Service interphone off. Phone lights off. Engine number 1 EEC on. Execute key off. Initializing all systems.
Oh, that's cool. It says service interphone off. Blah, blah, blah,
nice.
Blah. Okay. Alright, so I'm guessing it's set up for
Alright, so
short now.
Now when it's set up for short, okay, now go back to your cockpit panels.
737 cockpit. Engine number 1 EEC on button mode. Engine number 2 EEC on button mode. Engine number 1 EEC on button mode. Engine number 2 EEC on button mode. Engine number 1 EEC on.
Okay,
panel
so
EEC 1 to 1 level 1. Engine number 1 EEC on button mode plus L.
EEC 1 is on.
Now under. Okay, now press Alt L.
While I'm on the tree view, or when I'm on the EEC 1 on?
It doesn't
matter.
matter. As long as you're not on an indicator.
Okay, I did Alt L.
Panels preview EEC 1 to 1 level 1. Engine number 1 EEC off. Engine number 1 EEC off button mode plus L.
It just said off.
Panels preview EEC
off.
Engine number 1 EEC on.
If I do it again, it just says on the EC1 on. It's not saying nothing about that other button.
Okay, so turn it off.
By doing Alt L, right?
Alt L.
Okay, I did that.
EEC. Panels preview EEC 1 to 1 level 1. Engine number 1 EEC on button mode plus L. Panels preview EEC 1 to 1 level 1. Engine number 1 EEC off.
Okay, now it's off. I guess you gotta wait a second.
Oh, yeah. And then press Alt 3.
Okay. Alt.
EEC lights grouping. Engine number 2 alternate indicator off Alt plus 3.
Engine number 2.
Alt 3 should be engine number 1, alternate control.
For Alt 3?
Mm-hmm.
Engine number 2 control indicator off. Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +3.
Yeah, it
engine
says...
engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +3.
Engine number 2 indicator. When I hit Alt 3.
Does it give you a state? Like on or off?
Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +3.
Yeah, it says off. Engine number 2 indicator.
Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +3.
Or alternate, you know what I mean.
Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +3.
Yeah.
Alternate, but it says
engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +3.
Number 2 off +3 is what Alt 3 says.
Okay, so turn the right one off with Alt R. Well, get out of the indicator.
Engine number 2 control indicator off, Alt +2. Engine number 1 control indicator off, Alt +1. Engine number 2 control indicator off, Alt engine number 2 EEC on button, Alt +R.
Okay, where you want me?
In the tree view.
I'm where it says EEC.
EEC.
Engine number 2 EEC on button, Alt
press
+R.
Alt R.
Panels preview EEC 1 to 1 level 1.
Alt R.
And it should turn the... Yep. And it should turn the right one off.
I think it made a clicking noise, but it didn't say nothing.
Engine number 1 EEC off button, Alt +L. Engine number 2 EEC on button, Alt +R.
Yeah, it says number 2's on.
Yep.
It didn't
so
read
turn
it to
off.
me. How do you turn it off?
Press the engine number 2 button.
Okay.
Press engine number 2 EEC off. Engine number 2 EEC off.
Okay, it's off.
Engine number 1 EEC off button, Alt +L.
1 is off.
Panels preview EEC 1 to 1 level 1.
Now I'm back on EEC. So 1 and 2 both are off.
Okay, so 3 and 4 should say off.
So Alt 3?
Well, they should say on. Technically, they should say on. Some of this depends on the configuration of your airplane, because when I turn my EECs off on short, it actually turns on the alternate indicators.
EEC lights proven. Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +3.
Yeah, it says 2 is off.
Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +4. Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +3.
Well, 2.
Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +4. Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +3.
Okay, so when I hit 3 or 4, Alt 3 or Alt 4, it's saying the same number. It's saying
engine number 2 alternate indicator off,
engine
Alt +4.
number 2 alternate off. If I do Alt 3,
engine number 2 alternate indicator off,
engine
Alt
number
+3.
2 alternate off. It's not even saying 1 on either one of them.
Hold on, let me see. Oh, you're right. Okay, that's a bug. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a bug I'll have to...
So that,
well, see, this is the thing with preview
exactly.
builds. It's a bug.
That's why we say don't download these and try to use them, folks. Cause
Yep.
If you tab through those 2 alternate lights, are they on or off?
Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +4. Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +3.
Well, 3 says it's off.
Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +4. Engine number 2 alternate indicator off, Alt +3.
Well, 2 and 2, they both say 2,
off, Alt
but
+4.
they both say they're
engine number 1
off.
reverser indicator off, Alt +5.
Okay.
Engine number 1 reverser
Yeah,
indicator
some
off,
of this
Alt +5.
depends on the
engine number
setup
2
of
reverser
your
indicator off, Alt
airplane.
+6.
So
Panels preview EEC
when I turn my EECs off on short,
Well, yeah, but the thing is, your
Yeah,
short should be the same as mine. It's a configuration that they both would have the same settings. They should.
well, they should. Actually, let me see something. Yeah, let me see something really quick here. I'm gonna put myself in short because I actually am on default.
You're gonna put what?
I think he's gonna put his plane in short mode.
I'm putting my plane in short mode.
Okay.
Alright, hold on.
Gotta love that.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Let me see. All right. Okay, he's right.
It is a bug.
No.
There we go.
Okay, your setup was right. I put mine, the difference between mine and yours, I thought you were in the default startup state. Because see, if your plane is fully powered up, engine's running, ready to go, sitting out on the runway type of thing. Or if you're even sitting there ready to taxi.
Oh yeah, I wasn't
even ready for that. If one of those EEC lights, yeah, if one of those EEC lights goes off when you're ready to fly or taxi, then the alternate control level light turns on. Basically, it's a warning telling you this plane might not be flyable because the engines do not have any power.
Or engine.
They could still be running.
Right.
The engine or engines might not have any electrical control to them, so it might not be able to report thrust levels and things like that.
Right.
So it's under alternate control, which basically means the primary control has failed, or you've turned them off. So, but that's what that is. It is the primary or secondary power that controls the engines before startup.
Man. That is awesome. These are good things to have, especially when you get to the point where you're going to do startups yourself and all that.
Yep.
Because that's going to be me. When I'm able to do it, everything will get done manually.
Yep. Okay, so now if we go to the tree view.
EEC lights group panels preview. EEC 101 level 1.
Okay, I'm on the EEC.
Whoops. And your favorite back rubber, the Oxy panel.
Oxygen 101 level 1.
There it is. Oxy. And no, folks, it doesn't stand for oxymoron. It stands for oxygen.
For Oxycontin.
Yeah, or
Oxycontin.
Doesn't mean we're selling Oxycontins in the airplane, okay? We don't have any available, I'm sorry.
Oxygen needle indicator 67% alt plus X. Oxygen normal button alt plus O. Passenger oxygen indicator off alt plus 1.
Alright, so if you press Alt X.
Oxygen 101 level 1. Passenger oxygen panels preview. Oxygen 101 level 1.
Alt X?
Alt X.
Oxygen needle indicator 67% alt plus X.
Nice.
Haha. That's where you heard oxygen 67%.
It's the needle. No,
nice.
People. Not talking about meth needles neither. We don't have none of them neither.
It's the oxy needle.
The oxy meth needle.
No. No. It's the oxygen indicator on the airplane.
Right.
This tells you the concentration of oxygen and a percentage value in the cabin.
It's interesting because
oxygen needle indicator 67% alt plus X.
Oxygen that's the oxygen concentration in the cabin.
Mine's only at
67% oxygen.
That's
low.
That's low.
All right. Now, if you tab, you're going to find
oxygen normal button,
an oxygen button.
Normal.
Yep, if you press it,
press oxygen on, passenger oxygen light on.
Oxygen on, passenger light, oxygen on.
Oxygen needle indicator 67% alt plus X.
Now your
oxygen
passengers can breathe after 15,000 feet.
Oxygen needle indicator 67% alt plus X. Oxygen on button, passenger oxygen indicator on alt plus 1. Panel preview, oxygen.
Now if you flip the oxygen switch again.
Oxygen needle indicator 60, oxygen on button alt plus O, pressed. Oxygen normal, oxygen normal.
Oxygen normal.
Alright. So the passenger oxygen light remains turned on. What this basically means is the cabin is not providing extra oxygen to its passengers, even though the passenger oxygen light is still turned on. It's kind of more like it's still on, but it's mixing oxygen with the real air.
Panel preview. Oxygen needle indicator 67%.
Kind of like it's getting it from the bleeds and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I noticed even with it on that the oxygen needle didn't go up.
Oxygen needle indicator 67%.
Which is interesting. It still stayed. So I wonder what makes that needle. Shouldn't that be like at 90 or something?
No, because if you breathe 90% oxygen for a long time, you will die.
Yeah, I don't think we.
Well, no, well, I didn't know. Well, I know our bodies don't breathe that much, but I thought it was like just a percentage of oxygen overall. Like, you know, you're not like. That's not the way I was thinking of it. So. Wait.
Oh yeah, no. This is the percentage of O2 that is being mixed.
Okay, I got you.
Oxygen needle indicator 67% alt plus.
So
it's like 67% oxygen and everything else.
Oxygen normal, passenger oxygen indicator on alt plus 1.
So they're
so you have the passenger
tab
indicator.
Over and shut it off.
So my question
well, the passenger indicator will not turn off.
Oxygen normal, passenger oxygen indicator on alt plus 1.
Well, the passenger oxygen indicator won't turn off until you do shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
Oxygen norm, passenger oxygen indicator on alt plus 1.
Okay.
Panel preview, oxygen 1, oxygen needle indicator 67% alt plus, oxygen normal button alt plus O. Pressed, oxygen on, oxygen on.
He's doing a flight, or I'm doing a flight. Should
I'm
that
not giving you. I'm not.
If we're the same.
No, if we're doing cockpit share or something, you better bring you a tank, because you're not getting none of my oxygen, buddy. You gotta bring your own.
Well, see, if you have service-based failures turned off, this is always going to be at 67. If you have service-based failures turned on and things like that, and you have to do maintenance, like refill oxygen tanks, then this might go up or down. But for the most part, it's probably going to stay at 67. If it goes higher than that or lower than that, there might be a problem somewhere.
That is so cool.
Oxygen needle, oxygen on button alt plus O.
You know, I know
this is done during the pre-flight.
So is this something that I guess first officer does? Well, it never announces it. I've never seen nothing about oxygen, but...
Well, no, but if you run first officer now, I bet you he would say something about, or TFM would say something about the oxygen indicators and switches.
Oh, I bet. And I know for, as far as viewers, you guys gotta be getting excited too, knowing that, you know, when an update comes out of the 737, it's just gonna be full of goodies. Full of goodies. Because I think Andy's go here now... Correct me if I'm wrong, and if I am, then I'll turn down your oxygen on you. No, I'm just kidding. If I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that when the 737 comes out for an update, all these buttons and stuff are going to be available. Stuff we've not even talked about yet. You'll have access to all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think because I forget, it was someone from BVI. Was it Deck? No, I don't think it's Declan, but they were saying, we were talking about the 737 and all the switches, and I had said, I could be wrong here, but I think that when the update comes out, everything that the 737 needs will be there, as far as switches and lights and panels. I know that's why you said it's going to be a little bit before the update comes out, from where you're adding everything to it. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a while, so I am hesitant to do this, but I think I probably might do this on the blog. Probably not the Sunday, because that's week 3's update, which holds the dome lights, the EEC panel, and the Oxy panel. But and whatever else I can get done between now and then, because there's other things I could probably do between now and then.
Right.
But anyhow, sometime mid next week, I'm probably around Wednesday or so, I'm going to put out a blog post that will summarize my expected delivery times. They're not set in stone, they're not going to be guaranteed, but it is something to shoot for. And this is what I'm hoping for. By fall, the 37 in its complete form, if not most of it in its complete form. By the end of winter, beginning of next spring, the 77 in its complete or almost complete form. And by the summer of next year, by the end of the summer of next year, the 47 in its complete or almost complete form.
So we could be looking at flying the 7.3 with all these changes by this time next year.
Slider for mixed properties for mixed sources with
definitely by this time next year. I'm talking like somewhere around September or October of this year.
737 cockpit row oxygen on button Alt plus O.
That'll be nice.
Having it done or mostly done.
Yeah. Because there's a lot,
And then by the end of...
Like George said, when this is done, we're talking about it the other day, there's going to be a lot of buttons that you guys have not seen yet. I guarantee it. And you might not use all the buttons every time. You might not never use a button. It's going to be preference, but them buttons will be there. They will be
It'll be there for those who want to use them.
Yeah. The one lever that you pull back, I think it might be the... Not the flaps. Maybe it could be the
speed brake.
Either speed brake or spoiler that makes like the clicking noise as you're, because you can tell it's the handle that you pull down. It's one of the ones you pull back and it clicks as you pull it. So it's like click, click, click.
Auto brake.
Is it the auto brake that does that?
Yeah, it's probably the auto brake. Yeah, I think so.
But if that gets activated, you guys actually hear that same noise. You'll hear that action. Because right now what's happening is, in the past, you might have a button on TFM that turns something on, but it wasn't always like actually moving that. Wasn't making the sound, didn't always activate the sound. Now it does. Everything you add, you push a button, you can hear it. So at some point, you'll hear that brake make that noise. Maybe it is the auto brake that makes that noise. I thought it was maybe the spoiler.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, mate. You might be right there. Could be. Either way, some exciting stuff, man.
That is exciting stuff. Wow.
It really is. And here's the thing. You never know. You might get with an airline at some point that goes by this stuff. That wants you to activate this stuff or wants you to, like, let's just say, for example, the oxygen. You might get with an air company that rates you on all the stuff you do and what you don't do.
Yeah.
So, I think it's good that all this is being added. I think it's
and I think it would
good
be
for the plane and good for the pilot.
Yeah, and I think it would be good for maybe when we do future events to where, like, if we have somebody who is a pilot monitoring, they can grade us on checklists and stuff like that to see how well or not so well we do with them.
Well,
they wouldn't be able to do that unless you had a log on what was flipped when...
They're not going to know what you're clicking unless... There's no way to know that.
Yeah, that would be a problem. But I still think it would be a good thing to have to be able to do a complete checklist. Just for the experience of it.
Mm-hmm. And I believe the next couple of panels that are coming up that I will probably end up getting done by Sunday's blog post is, let me look and I can actually tell you which ones are coming up next. Let me get out of there.
Lasso 10.4.5.28 high performance rest, 100% CPU, 65% RAM, 84% tooltip.
Well, while he's doing that, guys, we do have another guest that popped in here. Josh is with us, being very polite and quiet, like a good little schoolgirl. No, I'm just kidding, Josh.
What's up, Josh?
How's it going, buddy?
Hopefully, stuff is good now.
No, we can.
That's pretty.
You're.
It's pretty good.
No, we can hear you now. You're good. You're good, man.
Yeah.
So, Josh, you've been kind of just sitting back listening, and you've been listening for the last few weeks when we've been doing these. What do you think so far? What's your take on what you've been seeing with what's being added so far?
I like the new. I like the direction that we're headed in.
Dropbox 150.4.500 uploading TFM 22.6 alpha 3 zip.
Really
TFM 22.6 alpha 3 zip. Your Dropbox is out of space. Tooltip.
Because I can hear myself.
Oh, we can hear you, but you sound like a robot.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Hold on, you're good now. Try to say something again. It's like, when you're at the hospital and someone's about to die and they get out the paddles. Clear! Come on, Josh. Come on. You with me?
Oh, shit.
Clear!
Yeah, man.
He's hanging on by a thread, people.
He's hanging on by a thread.
The paddles are keeping his heart fluttering.
Josh Tubbs left channel. Josh Tubbs logged out of the server.
Oh no, he just redlined on it.
Flatline.
Josh Tubbs logged onto the server. Josh Tubbs joined channel. Josh is the name.
Folks, it was nice knowing Josh. He used to fly with us here at BVI Pilots.
Josh Tubbs left channel. Josh is domain. Josh Tubbs joined channel.
He was a great
folks,
pilot.
I think he just came back from the
Yeah,
dead.
here he is again.
Your internet's bad, yeah.
Your internet is so bad.
Just sit back and listen for a little bit and maybe it'll straighten out, because I thought maybe I could still understand you like a transformer, and you don't even sound like a transformer. You sound like a no-former.
No. So, as...
Bad, man.
So,
alright, what you got, Andy?
As I promised and will guarantee that the next couple of panels that I will have done before Sunday's blog post, and will be included in that, is gear, aft overhead gear, and aft overhead flight recorder.
just for a kind of a sneak peek on that, what is the aft overhead gear?
Yeah.
So aft overhead gear panel is, they are indicators that tell you when your nose gear, left gear, and right gear are up or down. So all it is like indicators. So
one of your gears maybe fails.
So they're lights.
Yeah, that's that 3 green lights.
Yeah.
If you got 3 green lights, you know you're good.
So, you know how like when first officer says gear up, no lights?
Yeah.
That's basically what he's saying.
Oh, wow.
Is those 3 lights, if they're on, it means your gear is down. If they're off, that means your gear is up. And the flight recorder there's an indicator on there that indicates whether the flight recorder is on or off. If the light is on, flight recorder is on. If it's off, the flight recorder is off.
Okay, so check this out.
And
I was doing some research on the recorder. If you have that on, there is a way that you can actually access that for reviewing it. I don't know how, but I seen them talking about it on a thread. I'll need to do some more research. I'm guessing there's probably going to be a file that it creates, and then there will be a way to read that file. Now that would be a way to monitor a event. That would be the way to do it.
So that would be a cool thing to do.
Yep. So for an example here, if once we get to the comms panels and things like that, once those are done, you have to, in order for it to actually record, you have to set your mics up. Because the way you do it in vPilot right now is if you do .com1 and then whatever, or let's say you just press enter on the tree view on the center or tower that you want and it'll auto-tune.
Right.
That isn't good enough. That's just talking through vPilot. That's not actually talking through your aircraft's comm systems. So your airplane would have no idea that you are trying to talk through the mics.
Right.
But if you have your actual, you go in there, set your audio bandwidth up, set up your VH or VFR frequencies and all that kind of stuff, and you set your mic 1 and mic 2 up to whatever it is you need to do, and those are turned on, then yeah, it should record.
Oh, okay.
So this will let you turn the flight recorder on and off, and there's the indicator that says whether it's on or off. After the gear and the flight recorder, so what I have to do now is I have to put the settings, whether TFM will announce the Oxy settings, in. I have to put the aft overhead gear and its settings, the aft overhead flight recorder and its settings, and tomorrow or Sunday sometime before the blog post, that will close out the aft overhead panel, and we can start a new overhead panel. And we're moving along. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and we got the aft overhead finished.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Then we start the aft forward, or the forward overhead is next. Because right here you have aft overhead, forward overhead, center overhead. And then I believe it goes into some, I think it's of upper and lower overheads. the overhead panel itself covers a large amount of space.
Guys, you know what's really cool is at some point we're going to get to the panel where we can actually turn on and turn off the wipers.
Yep.
The heaters, the air conditioner. Because see, there's actually settings on the air conditioner. We don't see that right now, but there's actually settings where, let's say the passengers are not, they're still hot. It's not cool enough. Where you can adjust the air for your passengers.
Yep.
Same with the pilots.
And it makes it, and it's critical if you have those PAX add-ons that actually monitor, let's say, cabin temperature and, like, I believe PAX, if there comes an incident where people are, like, say, they're too cold.
Yeah.
And I think the flight attendant would come over the service phone and say, passengers are too cold, can you turn the heat up?
Mm-hmm.
And their success, their rating on your flight will depend on whether you turn that knob.
See, and I think from
warm it up.
From where we've not had the phone option on, that's why we don't get a lot of the things that PAX can deliver as far as like passengers getting cold or because it goes to communicate. Well, if it can't communicate to you, then it's just not going to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited, and I like where it's going, and I'd like to get your all's opinion as the viewer. Number one, do you like these sneak peek previews that we're doing? Because I think they're good to do. I think it's exciting.
I do too.
Gives you something to look forward to. Yes, you can read it on the blog, but this way you can see it in real time. So, it's like comparing a bowl of cereal to a piece of wheat toast. I'll take the cereal, please.
Mm-hmm.
I think they both go together, actually, is really what I'm saying. I think the blog and the sneak peek are good together.
Yeah.
Because you can read it, or like now you'll listen to this, and on Sunday you'll be able to read about it. Or wait, or this one was already on the blog. Am I going the other way? What we did today, is that what's already on the blog, or that's what's coming up on the blog, Andy? No, 'cause we're a week.
Hold on a second.
I think we're a week. We do a sneak peek of the previous week. So.
Okay, so to let you know, wipers and air conditioners and things like that are coming up within the next 3 or 4 weeks because it's on the forward overhead.
What's on? And obviously they'll see all that, but what kind of stuff is on the overhead as far as?
The forward overhead?
Yeah, the one where it's got the wipers and stuff. I'm guessing that's your wipers, your heater.
Yeah, let me see. Hold on, and I'll tell you. All right. You got flight controls.
Like your yoke and stuff? Well, not necessarily your yoke, but I mean, it'd be for like anything to do with your flight control. I got what you're saying.
So you have flight control switches, standby rudder or off. You have spoilers, yaw damper, alternate flaps controls, flight control low pressure, Let's see.
The beauty of this too, you guys, is as TFM is getting all these new buttons added, if you've got a yoke or a different panels that you use, now when you use them, and let's say you got a button that actually was set up to turn on your wipers, you would hear that when you hit the switch once it's added in.
Yeah, so you can hear it. It sounds just like real wipers. But you have the flight controls, spoilers, yaw dampers, indicators about auto slat failure lights, mock trim failures, air trim failures, rudder trim failures.
Cool pack. Your cool packs. Well, no, the cool packs might be on a different one, actually. That's a different system, I think.
Yeah, you have low oil, low oil pressure lights.
Hold on, I got a question. You showed us the oxygen button today, but there's a button that the co-pilot will press, and it makes like a psh, psh, oxygen noise. I wonder why that wasn't on this panel.
Yeah, I know. No, I have to put it in there. It is the red button left and red button right test buttons.
Okay, are we going to see those at some point?
Because you have, at some point, those will probably be in there, yeah. Because the red button left and right is the pilot's and the first officer's oxygen mask.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when you hear that, when first officer is doing his test, that hissing, that's testing the mask.
That's part of the checklist, yeah.
I was wondering what
eventually
that was.
we would need that because that would be part of the checklist if you're going to run through the whole thing. But yeah.
Yeah.
Very
but
cool.
Let's see. The next one, you have the fuel, like all of the fuel pumps and stuff.
Just up left channel. Just up logged out of the server.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Then you have the electrical, which is the one that's already there. It's got like the battery, the ground power, the standby, AC, DC meter outputs. That's in there.
Nice.
APU is in here, which we do not have right now.
APU. That's very cool.
APU, it's got the EGT needle. It's got it's got an indicator saying APU requires maintenance. APU low oil pressure light. APU fault light.
I wonder if there's a button that actually locks the doors. That.
Way down on the bottom under miscellaneous, there is a doors section that is fairly decent in size. I mean, it's huge.
Really? You know what's not? But I'll tell you what won't be in there is the cockpit door.
No,
because it ain't in there.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. It is in there. Yes.
Oh.
I thought the cockpit door was just a well, locked, but not like open and shut though. There's no. Because from my understanding, there was not that the cockpit door was just a prop, like just a prop.
No, there's a thing in here. It says flight deck door.
Oh.
Flight deck door switch, and it says on auto or is it on auto accept or decline.
Oh,
so we might be able to close that door in the future?
Maybe.
Yes.
Nice.
Wow.
You have wipers.
Now I'm going to point something out to everybody, and it just for the fact of how much this is for Andy to do. Imagine how much. I want you to keep an eye and keep watching how much is getting added on the 737. Imagine how much there's going to be on the 777.
And that will be the end of the forward overhead. That's the end of the forward. Then we go into the center overhead.
Mm-hmm. 777 is going to be even more than this, you guys. It's going to be loaded with, my gosh, there will be buttons everywhere.
Buttons and indicators. More indicators than buttons, but yeah, there's going to be everything all over everywhere.
And the 74, even though it's not the...
Now, you know, the 747 is going to be the beast that beats them all.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. It's
that sucker.
They don't call it the Queen of the
that
Skies for nothing.
That thing is complicated and very extensive.
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's huge.
Wow.
So you figure the SDK for the 37 is 18, well, it's 800 and something lines long.
Right.
The SDK for the 77 is 1400 lines long, and the one for the 47 is 2300 lines long.
Wow. You're right, that is a beast. Oh man.
And you have lights to back up lights. You have like, so we have to basically present, and you're in the 47 there's going to be a lot you probably want to turn off and just manually check yourself. An example would be when you start up the engines. So let's say you hook up the ground power, all that stuff is ready to go. Well, you hook up the ground power, you're going to have this on your overhead panels. You're going to have 4 system failure lights, 4 hydraulic failure lights, 4 engine failure lights, 4 fuel pump fault lights, all turned on.
Man, you want to
just
talk about
because your
spam?
Engines are successful.
Is if somebody doesn't go in there and set them. You talking about?
And this is just.
Oh yeah, that would definitely.
And this is just. This is just because your engines are turned off. All of those lights are turned on, so you have those block of 16 lights that are turned on, just because the engines are turned off.
You know, there's even a button
now
that
when you turn on the. Yep. Now when you turn on the engines to the 47, as each system comes online, you'll see this block of lights on the left side blink off one by one, and another set on the right side blink on one by one. So as the hydraulic fault lights turn off, then the hydraulic system lights will turn on.
Yep.
It's kind of like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. One group turns off, the next group turns on. And it's like you have to do a back trace in a sense from one group of lights to the next group of lights, and you have to keep chasing it down until you come to the original reason why this thing happened.
And I'll tell you what, guys,
yeah.
It's going to be, honestly, to decide if when we get ready for the next plane that he programs, depending on you guys will depend on if there will be another season of the sneak peek previews. So, like, 737 is one season, 74 will be another season, 777 will be another season. If you want them other 2 seasons, not just me, but Andy as well, we need to see results from you as a viewer, that you enjoy seeing these, that you like seeing these. Because obviously, if it's doing you no good, if it's doing no good at all, it's kind of like doing a season of a show that doesn't get no views. The season goes away, right?
Yep.
This season would go away. Sneak preview would go away if at the end of the 737 we noticed that We did that whole season, and we got maybe 20% views on it. So we need to see results. And the other thing is, there might be people that don't know about the sneak peek. So it's important that not just me or Andy or Brandon. I share everything that I do, and I try to remind Brandon and these guys to do the same thing. But share it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Get in new viewers, new eyes, new perspectives, right?
Exactly.
We don't want this to just be for blind people, right? We want to show the world what we're doing. And what better way to do that than you guys throwing a link out on your Facebook or on your Twitter or Suckagram or Instagram.
And the nice thing is, it doesn't cost you a dime to do.
Instagram is so unaccessible. That app is such a. It is kind of sucky. I don't use it myself, but
I don't either.
Sighted people do. But anyways, share it so we can get new eyeballs on the show, on the season, on the channel. I don't mind doing this stuff. I like doing it, right? So, let us know what you think. So give us before we leave, Andy, give us like we always do, give us a little idea of what's coming next week. What are we looking at?
So next week, after the blog comes out for week 4, I believe. So after the blog comes out for this week, let me verify the week. Okay, yes, this is week 3. So after week 3 comes out, with the rest of the aft overhead, week 4 is going to start the forward overhead, which has those panels in it that I had listed. Electrical, wipers, fuel, flight controls, things like that. If everything turns out good, it looks like I actually might be able to finish the forward overhead in 1 week, because there's not very many things in it. There's only a couple of things I have to do some homework on to figure out what it is they are and what they mean. But aside from that, next week starts the forward overhead. In either case, I'll have at least 2 or 3 panels done by then.
Very cool. Nice. Very cool. You guys, again, if you got questions, comments,
Ops 27.2.4,
Andy, he doesn't mind answering basic questions. It's not necessarily, it's this isn't live stream. These are videos, and that I do it that way for a reason. That way, you guys can leave comments, and then the following week, if I see any questions or someone goes and sees a question, they can write it down, and we'll answer it the following week. So, if you got questions, by all means, leave them in the comments and expect us to answer them that following week. And every now and then I might go live with these, but I like doing these recorded. That way we've got a copy of them. Live streams can sometimes go away on YouTube. Even though you did it on YouTube, sometimes they can just fall off the map, and I don't want these to. We want these to be something to look back on. A year from now, we're going to look back on this stuff and say, man, look what we've done. And then next week, we're also going to talk a little bit about the I'm going to try to get Declan on with us too on the sneak peek, and we'll do all this, and plus I'm going to be talking about the Sim Expo that I'm trying to go to and represent this wonderful program.
Yeah.
I'd like to go there and represent TFM and the work that Andy and Jason both have put in. And so next week we're going to talk a little bit about that to give people an idea of kind of not really everything that's going to be said, because this ain't going to be one of them where I go and just run it one time. We're going to go over this more than once and practice it and review it and add to it later on as we get more stuff. You know, I'll modify the video a little bit, or maybe what I'm going to say at the expo. But maybe next week I might be able to get Declan in here. We'll see what happens. If not, I'll still go over and talk about it. Just to give a little more information about it. We're clear about what's said and what's not said. I'd rather y'all hear it from me than someone say, "Oh, did you hear what they said over there? They said this or that." I don't do that stuff. Okay. What I will say is that Andy gladly said to me that he wanted me to represent TFM. Andy's seen, kind of some of the professional stuff I've done in the past, not with TFM, but other things. He knows that I'm going, when I go there, I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to give it 100%. And, not that anybody did bad in the past. I'm not saying that neither, but, it's okay to change things up a little bit to make it better. That's what it's all about. And so, Andy said, "Man, I'd like for you to go out there and do this." And so we talked and we're like, "Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do it." So could this
actually don't count me on this, but there actually might be a slight change of plans for that. I'm doing some research and some things on it, but if everything turns out the way I want to, I will be down there.
So you will be there with me, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if everything turns out good, everything's a green light, I'll be down there to do TFM stuff.
Very good. Very good. And I'm guessing that means we're still going to be doing the video, but Andy will get to, we'll put him up there and let him do the talking, if that's the way he wants to do it.
So
anyways, we'll let you know. We'll keep you guys updated. So until next time, you guys, again, as always, I enjoy doing the streams. And we'll talk a little bit more about this. As time passes, we'll update you.
Yep.
One thing we have to talk about here shortly before we leave is we need to do, if we can, we need to do a throwback, because TFM's second birthday is coming up here soon.
That's right, it is.
When is the second birthday?
It's August 1st.
August the 1st.
Yeah, so we got a couple months. We will talk about that, and we will get something put together to definitely do a throwback as well. So, but as always, Brandon, thanks for joining the show.
Yep. Glad to be here.
For everybody else, I'd like to remind you, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/BVI Pilots. You can also follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/PilotLife2020. And obviously, share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Set your notifications to always, so you're notified each and every single time that we publish a video or go live here at BVI Pilots. Until next time, my friends, you all have a wonderful day.
Start streaming checkbox not checked. Stop recording checkbox checked.
Keep those blue skies up. And if you don't, well, I've said it once, said it twice. I think I've even said it 3 times. If the sky is down, well, Andy, we got a problem.